And Rotus is poised to give us the latest. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Valentine. Good morning, Lagos City.
Good morning. We have guests, analysts actually, sorry.
Yes, Segun and Ugo Dre. Segun of ARM and Ugo Dre of Nairametrics are with us in the studio. Good morning, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning, sirs.
Good morning. To have a conversation with us, Lagos, and sending your comments and contributions to the show, send it to WhatsApp. Now, our WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981. On Twitter, we're at Smooth91FM. Use that hashtag BusinessExpress981. Also on YouTube, where we're streaming live right now, is at youtube.com/Smooth91FM in Lagos. Type that in the search box, you find us.
And the camera is moving this time. I'm going to start standing up like Jim Cramer of CNBC. I'm going to start doing that. All right, Lagos, let's hop into what happened on Friday. Stock market was down, up and down. It goes 0.3% is where it dropped on Friday. 37,625 points. So far this year, we're down by 1.7%. 1.6 rather. For the week, last week, we're down by 1.7. 21 gainers, 24 losers. Equity assurance was the top gainer, up by 10%. Sovereign insurance was top loser, down by the same margin, 10%. We're at 361 to the dollar. So first things first, we're going to be talking about our Alhaji and his oil refinery that he was speaking to Reuters, or rather the head of the plant was speaking to Reuters, executive director, Mr. Edwin. He says that they're expecting that the oil refinery is going to account for about half of the group's assets.
Yeah,
That's a big bet.
yeah. It's a massive project that is actually going on. I think borrowings, to show you how big it is, they're actually looking at borrowing at about $3 billion to actually finance that project. It's actually a massive one. I think for Nigeria also, it's actually going to be a good one for us. Like it's going to save us a lot when we have to import oil. Because with the plant, I think it's estimated that it's going to produce about 650,000 barrels of refined product. So if you're looking at that, I think a barrel is about 159 liters of PMS, and Nigerian consumes about 45 million liters to about 50 million liters per day. So if you look at that, it's actually going to save us a lot. Yeah. So if you look at the 650,000 barrels that is likely to put, that's about 103 million liters of PMS per day. So we actually have room to also export. And so if let's say we do our 50 million liters per day, so we still have about extra about 50 something liters to actually export. So in a way, we're actually saving a lot from FX that we're actually supposed to import this, and also we're actually getting FX from what from the one we're likely to export. And even though it is going to allow you, but it's actually going to save us a lot when it comes to the FX side.
Lots of optimism there. Are you going to balance it out with some pessimism?
Do I have to?
No, what do you think? What do you think?
Obviously, it's a massive project group. I mean, no question about that. It's not even just the PMS story as well. They also have the lubricants as well, the byproducts from refineries that he's also going to sell. So Alhaji Dangote is looking at the entire West African space, not just Nigeria alone. So he's hoping that he can basically service West African countries. But then you also have to juxtapose this against the way the world is changing. Western markets, Western countries are also trying to look towards electricity as powering
alternative energy,
alternative energy and all that. So I don't know how it's going to balance that. So if there's a bit of pessimism, it's probably around that. I mean, is this refinery going to last for 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years? Is there a time span for it? Is it enough for him to recover his cost at a decent margin? So these are the things that you kind of look at as well. Maybe another possible downside, of course, is that at some point the government is going to take its hands off the price of fuel. Fuel price has got to be competitive for someone like Aliko Dangote and his group of companies to actually get returns on their money as well. So it's going to basically be dictated with the price of oil. So the price of oil goes up, then fuel price obviously goes up. Price of oil goes down. Let's hope that fuel price goes down.
Right, in line.
Anything is going to be, now we are importing. A lot of people want to say, oh, if you're doing this, where is the money you're importing? People are stealing money. But when you know that Dangote is producing it and it's telling the market as the price, we all know, we are Nigerians. Oh, this is what Dangote is charging this guy. I think it's actually going to be a good excuse and a good one for government to say, guys, you are not subsidizing this thing anymore.
Right.
And also for the downstream guys, if you look at it, a lot of them use base oil to do their lubricants. And if that is also available locally, you actually expect that FX impact to actually limit the cost of all these things. So it's actually going to be a good one across the board.
It's an exponential impact, but we'll have to wait till 2020.
I don't think 2019
pushed back.
He pushed it back.
Yeah,
He
in
said
the report,
December.
he actually mentioned 2019, but
Yeah,
I'm not expecting.
2020.
I'm not expecting.
Okay, well, still on Dangote, the fertilizer plant is supposed to begin production. The plans for the country,
I think the whole FX issues is always been about petroleum product imports, which fertilizer is also a part of it. And a lot of issues that farmers have been facing is actually the cost of actually buying the fertilizer. So government is subsidizing it for them in a way. But I think Dangote is actually going to kind of make a lot of things clearer in Nigeria. The way I'm looking at it, because the whole stealing around, we are subsidizing this, we are subsidizing fertilizer, we are subsidizing. It's actually, what are you now subsidizing? So where's the money? So I think accountability is going to improve in a way when this thing comes up. We now have these things locally. So what's your excuse around subsidize?
So
We'll probably subsidize politics.
We hopefully, right? Okay, gentlemen, with that in mind, if one was to come to you and say, what is the first stock that any local investor or foreign investor interested in Nigeria is going to invest in, would Dangote be the first name that you come up with based on all his plans for the country, what we're looking at? Would that be?
Currently, I mean, like Dangote stocks currently make up, is it 20% or so of market capitalization? So that's a huge company that he has there, and his flagship Dangote Cement, I think we still have about less than 10% in float of the company currently on float on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So that's a whole lot. Is it 5, 10, 15% now?
Nice sign language there.
On the exchange, right? So that means there's still a lot more out there. So yes, it's one company. If there's a local company that you want to look at, apart from the Fugars, you want to look at Dangote Cement. That's one. Not just Dangote Cement, Dangote Sugar, NASCON, and then if you eventually list maybe the fertilizer company or the refinery, then these are companies that you obviously want to have your money in. It's good for the Nigerian Stock Exchange. It just makes the Nigerian Stock Exchange bigger. If you list those companies, we're probably going to be looking at a 20 trillion market, 20 trillion naira market in the next couple of years. So yes, it's a huge one, big one, something that we expect to happen. At some point, maybe there's going to be a consolidation. I really don't know. Is he going to list Dangote Industries Limited as a group? Is he going to list the group, or is it just that's the holding company? I don't think that's nobody really knows. But if he tries that, they're probably going to break it off.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, yes, that's one stock. That's one company.
They will just keep the subsidiaries listed. And I think the thing I'm actually looking around the way the subsidiaries are actually going to benefit is the synergy actually going to save from the group. So you now have a constant power. So compared to issues we were having before around, we can't upgrade due to shortings, we can't get gas, we can't get all this. And this guy also doing a lot of, I think he's actually going to give a lot of synergy between the group, and also they have about 20 naira 33 cover on Dangote Sugar, and it closes at 10 naira. So though overweight, but we think it still looks like a lot of value in the company.
All right, we have a message in from Ogbomachi there. Say, good morning, guys. I find it really funny when I hear Nigerians talking about Dangote Refinery. This guy is a businessman. For instance, we know what cement was before Dangote moved into this space. Remember that if Dangote Refinery is in the free trade zone, it means that the government will have little or no power or influence over here.
Which is good news, I would expect. Thank you for that message.
Balaji says it would amaze you guys how NNPC's refineries will suddenly become productive when Dangote's refinery comes on stream.
All the good.
We want competition.
Like I said, it's actually going to make a lot of efficiency, because you are not seeing this guy. What is now you guys' excuse for not
being able to produce? All right, CCNN, still back to the cement again. Segun, their plant, I believe, is now, the new plant is now operational?
Yeah, I think it's been operational since May, based on information we're actually getting from Shokoto, but I think it's been operational since May, but they just announced the way that looking at integrating the new plant into CCNN. So I think there was a press release from them. So they're saying for every 100,000 shares of the new company, it's called Kalambena Cement Limited. For every 100,000 shares of that Kalambena, system will have to issue about 19 million shares to the company.
Okay.
But they've actually not said how much dilution impact is going to dilute the investment, because we don't know how many shares Kalambena actually owns for now, or how many multiples of the 100,000 they have. So we can't really say how much, what the impact of the dilution is going to be. But we still feel it's actually going to be a good thing. But we had earlier expected that it's going to be like a financing that are likely to do. Although we expected a merger, but we're looking at the biggest BOA, that's plus the one in Obu. But now they're saying they're taking the Obu out, so it's just the two in Shokoto. So if you still look at it, we're still looking at around, if you take out the Obu, we're still looking at shares outstanding going to about 6 billion. From currently 1.2, but we're still waiting for them to get further details before we have a target price.
CCM, by the way, is a cement company of northern Nigeria. Okay, guys. Okay, we still got it. A couple minutes left. Should we do your stock picks, or shall we talk about Fashola wanting landlords to? Ugo Dre, why are you looking at me like that?
That would be nice.
Do we have anything better to say?
What's better than getting free rent?
My God.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
it's not free rent. But arrears.
It's just,
yeah.
I think it's just the time value of money you look at it.
Yeah.
Instead of me locking my money down for 2 years, like some of the landlords are asking, I actually pay every month. So I think it's actually, if I look at it, I can do something better with the money than just lock it up. And I think the fear around for the landlords is actually around, what if this guy defaults or something? So let me lock him for 2 years. But if you have a structure whereby if I don't pay for 2 months, you can actually kick me out without any lengthy legal process. I think the landlords will be comfortable doing that. And it's also
The law actually provides for you to pay rent monthly. Probably not in arrears, but the law, Fashola himself signed the law when he was governor in Lagos.
Why is it not being implemented?
Yeah, so it's not being. So what's the
what's the announcement?
I doubt the Nigerians are ready to.
Yeah, let them start to implement the law first in Lagos State.
We have a message in from Rainmaker. It says today is the Dangote show.
Yes.
There's a silver lining for the eco space in coming years. The government should take lessons from this by ensuring structures and systems work in a way entrepreneurs and their businesses can thrive. The MTN IPO is here, guys, in August.
Wait, wasn't you that said we should not believe, or who was it that came on? Should I say August is probably not a realistic date?
It's not. I mean, considering the fact that they haven't announced yet, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be. It's all out. They're just about getting SEC approval. Last week they said they got SEC approval.
Right.
Then we had a rebuttal from SEC saying nope, we haven't.
Yeah, we haven't given approval.
yet.
Right.
So it's unlikely that this is gonna happen in August. So let's look at the last quarter of 2018. That's probably
Okay,
more
but
likely.
just to throw that, this is now turning into Tech Friday. But what about the elections in February? That's not gonna, no fears of
I
delaying it.
don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of capital on the sidelines waiting for this deal to happen. It's supposed to be the biggest deal this year. So
Right.
everybody wants that to happen, irrespective of what the
Whether elections happen or not.
I think any PFA that doesn't lock in is, I don't think there's any PFA that wants to miss this. Or
Yeah,
any strategy that wants to miss
It's
this.
massive,
If you don't have
In
it,
fact-
it's like having Dangote in your portfolio. If you don't have it, you don't have it.
In fact, SEC released a statement. It's on a Punch newspaper for today. It said MTN has not
Filed for the
application
IPO.
for IPO yet.
Rainmaker is hopeful. Rainmaker, don't worry, we'll keep following that. I think we're Valentine. We're out of time. We're out of time. Okay, Ugo Dre of Nairametrics, Mr. Segun of ARM. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, live show, and thank you as always for your messages. We really, really appreciate your messages.
Yeah.
All right, Valentine.
All right, guys, we'll come next at 7:30 to talk detailed analysis of newspaper stories. That's inside of Freshly Pressed. Catch Rotus, Rotan Quotes on Twitter. That's Rotan Quotes with a K.
Yes.
All right, guys, we'll enjoy some music before Freshly Pressed comes in. Good morning.
Business Express on Smooth 98.1.
No way,
No, for now.